Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here, and I know I've already said it a bunch, and guess what? I'm going to keep saying it because it was really fun and a ton of stuff happened, but this is a story from me being at the LCS Finals in Houston this past weekend, and while I was there, after TL lost 3-0 to Evil Geniuses, one of my favorite stories of the whole weekend happened where a guy came up to me, and they were like, yo, Germ! I was like, yo, what's up? They're like, TL's finished? And that was just so funny to me and made me so happy and excited that like the videos are resonating with people that way and that people are remembering them and like saying stuff like that. But also it was obviously a great idea, and I told him I was going to do that. I told him it was definitely coming. So I was going to probably do it anyway, but I had to do it. Shout out to that guy. People were so amazing in Houston. But man, it just made me smile. I was excited. But yes, TL got 3-0'd by Evil Geniuses. They are finished. That's what we're talking about today. So definitely drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video. I would appreciate that a ton. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the Patreon, first link in the description below if you want to get early access to my videos before they go live on YouTube, or if you just want to help support me and my channel and my content. With that being said, let's get right into this. So, Team Liquid, seen as the super team coming out of the LCS. This was not a team that was just supposed to, compete for championships. Obviously, championships were kind of seen as a formality, but honestly, even if you don't win LCS championships, the spring, not winning spring championship sucks because you don't get to go to MSI, but like if you don't win in the summer, no one really cares if you go to Worlds and do great. We've seen so many like 3 seeds from North America, like even just this last year, Cloud9, they got 3rd in summer, but then they go to Worlds, they do well, and they're kind of seen as like the success story from the LCS that year. Again, you aren't afforded that same luxury in spring just because, only one team gets to go to MSI, so if you don't win, you get no international experience, and this Team Liquid team is built for international. They were 1, a team full of veterans, 2, a team full of guys with a ton of international experience, some, very, very successful, and 3, so much money was spent on this team. 3rd place in the LCS is not good enough. Getting 3-0'd by a team like Evil Geniuses, with a rookie mid laner, a second split 80 carry, when you have Han Sama, Core JJ, Bjergsen, Bwipo, just these guys with insane pedigree, is simply not good enough. And when we take a look at the series, honestly, even dating all the way back to 100 Thieves, the whole playoffs, like, even when they beat EG the first time, they only won 3-2, so that was already not a great way to, start the playoffs. But now looking back on it, the fact that they beat EG at all is honestly a good win. EG ends up winning the whole thing and ends up winning it in dominant fashion, so that was a pretty good, series for TL, I guess, and it shows how good they can be. But then the fact that they were up 2-0 on 100 Thieves and then lose 3 straight to them and then lose 3 straight to Evil Geniuses, they ended the playoffs on a 6-game losing streak. That is rough. And just throughout the playoffs, they dropped so many games. Again, a 3-2, a 3-2, and a 3-0 is just really, really rough. But a lot of different players were getting criticism. I know I was very critical of Hans in the series against Evil Geniuses that they lost. I think he just got gapped by Danny, which was crazy because TL was even getting advantages in lane. Like Han Sama got I want to say multiple first bloods, or for sure multiple 2v2 kills, and the fact that Danny was still able to scale up, yes, a lot of that was team play, but like Danny was a carry threat. He was massive. He was a big deal in all these games, and Hans just overall had good early lane phases. Him and Core had a good lane phase, but they were often throwing leads away. They often just weren't doing that good in team fights. Some of that's Hans, some of that's Core. Core, I definitely think, deserves some criticism as well. I know some people were talking about Bjergsen, his weird builds, the fact that he wasn't doing that much. I don't think Bjergsen was like objectively bad. I think he definitely could have and should have been better, but I wouldn't like blame the whole series on him or anything. I thought Santorin was fine or even good. He had like the Lee Sin game where he was just super, super active, getting a ton done. But yeah, my main areas were, big AD gap and really, really big top gap. I think criticizing Bwipo, I think, is very, very fair throughout this whole thing. This was honestly one of like the worst Ornn games I've seen, especially like, in the semifinals. Like, obviously, yeah, you might see like a shittier Ornn game from like, I don't know, like whoever a bad team is, like Immortals or something. But to see this, from Bwipo in this spot when Ornn is looking so broken throughout the whole, kind of LCS playoffs, like he made Ornn look balanced. If not, he made Ornn look really, really weak. Thought this was a really bad Nautilus game from Core JJ as well, but And then, game 2, Bwipo actually did decent. I mean, he had a good score here, but, like, he wasn't getting that much done on GP. I thought he had some bad GP ults, some weird GP ults, but he got to scale. He ended up having some really big barrels, and this was, probably Bwipo's best game of the series, and obviously his scoreline looks nice, but it might be a little bit deceiving there. And then in this game, they save their last pick for an Ignite Shen, who I guess Shen One Tricks are saying is not even good into Aatrox in lane, but he goes Ignite, and he loses lane. And then he's just a Shen with Ignite, not having TP. Obviously, the other team's comp was kind of countering the Shen as well. The Nocturne ult makes it so Shen can't even ult on people. So I don't think it was the best pick. But, like, Bwipo didn't, win lane or do anything with the Shen either. Now, obviously, TL probably should have won this game if not for the crazy Baron play and all that stuff. But people are just talking about, who's to blame, what's going on. But overall, I mean, this just certainly cannot be good enough. All the money, all the talent, everything that TL has, dropping out of the playoffs again by losing 6 straight and dropping out of the playoffs in the way they did, it's certainly not good enough. And, it's led some people to question, like, hey, why, did they go and get Bwipo? We just went from Alphari to Bwipo. He was supposed to be so good, and he's really not that good. It has a lot of people saying, hey, why did we ever get rid of Impact? Like, Impact's a monster, and then since then we've gone from, them to Alphari and Bwipo. We've had people like Jensen chiming in. He said, and he put a, thinking emoji saying, hey, I got replaced, by this guy. You guys brought in Bjergsen, and now you guys aren't even winning anything. You have this whole super team. I know Jensen also in Doublelift's podcast talked about the fact how, he wanted to try and go play AD carry because he wanted to help the team. He's like, we're having some rough AD carry play. Maybe I can go play AD carry. We can get Bjergsen and all this stuff. And then he tries to go to AD carry, they bring in Hans, but then they still bring in Bjergsen, and he just gets left out to dry. It was kind of a whole weird, shitty situation for him, so I'm sure he's a little bit salty, a little bit upset about that stuff still, and then, just to see TL losing the way they did, I'm sure felt good for him, because again, Hans didn't have a great series. Bjergsen did not have a great series, but I will also say at the same time that, hey, Team Liquid didn't have a crazy, crazy year last year either. They won the lock-in, then they finished 3rd in spring regular season, then got 2nd in the playoffs, 5th in summer regular season, and then 2nd in the playoffs again. This TL team won lock-in, finished 1st in the spring regular season, and then finished 3rd. So it's not like this TL team's like doing crazy work. They got 2nd in the playoffs last year. They got 3rd this year. That's way, way, way worse. Like, so I don't think Jensen has like a great point there, but there have been some people saying that, hey, we should replace Jensen with Bjergsen. Jensen, we should have never replaced Jensen in the first place. He's just better. He is a winner. He does XYZ. Bjergsen's washed up. Bjergsen took a year off. He sucks now. Or, Bjergsen was always a problem for TSM, yada, yada, yada. There's some people saying, hey, maybe TL should, replace Bwipo and maybe Bwipo will leave, or maybe they'll, I don't know. I think the general consensus is that, hey, this team's going to run it back. They're going to be good. They're going to be okay. But, hey, they're in the exact same situation as Fnatic, who was up 2-0, got reverse swept, and then lost 3-0. And, hey, Fnatic's considering changes. Fnatic might, get rid of Razork. They might make some changes. They might, remove their jungler, even though they were supposed to be a super team over in EU as well. This is supposed to be the LCS super team. There's no reason for this team to not be succeeding. There's not great excuses. This team on paper is better than 100 Thieves. They are better than Evil Geniuses. They did not show up. But I don't think it takes away from the season they had. Obviously, they had an amazing regular season. They even did good in the playoffs. Again, they beat Evil Geniuses. They were 2 up on 100 Thieves. They lost on the crazy Baron Steel pentakill. I do expect TL to run it back. I do expect that they're going to be okay. But obviously, getting knocked out of the playoffs in the way they did, the players were really sad. The players were really disappointed. Obviously it was just really, really frustrating for them, and I'm sure it's something they didn't expect at all. I'm sure they thought, even after losing 100 Thieves, like, oh, okay, whatever, we'll just go beat EG, and then we'll get a rematch in the finals. Maybe they even took EG lightly because they were looking ahead to 100 Thieves. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. I definitely think all the players are to blame. I don't think a single player on TL stood out as the level they should be playing at. Maybe Santorin, but for sure the other 4 guys can play better, need to play better. I'm sure hopefully will play better. But I know there was a lot of criticism and stuff towards Bwipo towards the end of the split and into the playoffs, and who knows what's going to happen. But again, we know not exactly how much, but we have a pretty damn good idea how much money is being spent on this Team Liquid team, and getting results like this is just not good enough. And again, at least for the spring split, they're finished. I think they're going to be running it back, but I guess I wouldn't be shocked if this team did make some kind of change, or if they're having some issues behind the scenes, or if somebody wanted to leave or something like that. I don't know, but man, things are getting spicy for Team Liquid all of a sudden. But that's pretty much it for this video today, guys. Tell me, drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about Team Liquid. Do you think they should make any changes? Do you think they will? I don't know. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to up to date on all my latest content. Consider checking out the Patreon. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.